What's up, everybody? Welcome to Talking Nerdy about Digimon Applisode number 4. I am James.
I'm Jerry.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Tyler.
And today we're going to be discussing Digimon Universe Monsters episodes 12, 13, and 14.
Yes, those numbers do go in that order.
They do.
You were totally correct.
I thought 15
I had to
came
look. You
after
notice I had to
13.
look at the
No.
picture.
No.
Or, I mean, you notice I had to look at the paper
You had to look at your
to
notes.
check the numbers.
Let me
see
make
if I
sure
was
these
right.
numbers go in this
It's
order.
been a long time since I counted up to 12. I don't have to go past 10 anymore, so... All right, so...
Oh, goodness.
That didn't make any sense to me. But okay, let's continue.
Why don't you have to go past 10 anymore?
No. I
10
don't...
for 10.
I stop... A lot of times I start a sentence, and then I don't know where it's actually going, so I just let it go. I just
Okay.
keep going.
Yeah.
I never know where it's going. It just goes like
Right.
right now.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. I'm trying to just...
We're trying to get to point B, and you're taking us to point F.
I'm all messed up here. Where's my...
James
go.
is just flipping through
Got
pages.
this.
He's looking for the number 12 in his notebook right now.
He's getting stuck.
So, anyways,
Yes.
we can be found all over the place.
Yeah?
We're gonna
Like
get this-
like
we're gonna
where?
We're going to get the housework out of the way.
Okay, let's do this.
Facebook.
Check.
Facebook.com/TalkerNerdy815.
Yeah.
YouTube. We don't have the URL
Okay.
because you have to
we
have
can-
like 1 million subscribers
Yeah.
to get your own personalized. Just search for Talking Nerdy.
Yeah. Or do us a favor and just make 1 million YouTube profiles and then just
subscribe?
subscribe to us that way.
That way
So
we can get the
yeah.
URL.
Perfect.
What did you do?
Tyler's mic has not been on.
Oh,
That's fine.
okay.
Sorry, Tyler.
That's cool.
Hey Tyler, can you say hello again?
Hello, I'm Tyler.
There we go.
All right. So
He was
also,
asleep.
if you have questions, you just want to shoot us some suggestions for the show. You just want to talk about Digimon, anything like that, you can hit us up at talkingnerdy815@gmail.com.
Do you ever
And,
get any emails?
No, but man, I really want to. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, use an email, please. Send us emails.
Yeah, send
Even
an
if
email.
It's hate mail.
Oh, whoa.
take
No,
hate
I
mail.
don't need that kind of hit to my self-esteem.
Direct all hate mail to Jerry.
Yeah. All right, so why don't we get
And-
on?
Well,
Shoot, go.
You know, I actually just found out that we're on YouTube. That's pretty
Yeah,
pretty cool.
so originally we used to do a podcast back in the day, and we used a different hosting site,
Yeah.
and it sucked. It was
Yeah.
really, really bad.
This is awful.
It was like $20. Like
But it was
a year.
super cheap. He's right. It was super cheap.
You get what you pay for.
So I looked around before we did this one, and I chose Podbean. And at first I don't know. I'm not going to say I didn't like it, but it was just fine. It was just fine. But then I started kind of playing with our profile, and I realized like you can link like
One
Facebook,
podcast to multiple.
Twitter,
things,
like all this kind of stuff. And I did YouTube, and so now it just automatically uploads. And that was something we talked about like very beginning
are
before we
out
started
there.
it. So
We're in the web.
if you really, if you're one of those people that likes to watch audio,
Which makes no sense.
then we are there, man.
Yeah.
We are on
All you're
YouTube.
looking at is a steal.
I mean, I know I was posting it on Facebook earlier today, and that was the best way I could find to link it. You know, because you can just go in and copy the link and then share it on like
Right.
Facebook and stuff like that, and you can share multiple episodes and
Right.
stuff like that. So
But so we are on YouTube, Talking Nerdy. Podbean is where we're hosted. It's podbean.com. You search for Talking Nerdy about Digimon.
Podbean app.
The Podbean app, yep. iTunes.
I love the Podbean app because you can put your phone in sleep mode and it'll still play.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, because that's how
Podcast
I was
did that.
listening to it on the way here.
I do it from iTunes. Well, I do it from the
Mr. Apple.
podcast app
Yeah, I
on
don't do
Apple.
Sorry.
But yeah, so if you do happen to, you can like subscribe to us.
Is that phone service is through L Corp, right?
No, but
Mine is.
if
L Corp.
if there was a Yeah, Apple or like Disney,
Yeah.
since they own everything.
Yeah, whoa, shh.
That
they're
would be-
listening. Jesus. You're going to get a
Podbean.
shutdown in black bag, man.
Oh
What the hell?
gosh. But yeah, so if you do listen to us on iTunes, you can rate us and give us a 1 to 5 star review.
Well, not like raid.
Or no, you can give
But
us
rate,
a 1 to
rate,
5 star
yes.
rating
Speaking of
or
rating,
review us.
we've actually been debating on rating episodes.
Yeah.
So I think that's a thing that we're going
Well-
to start. Or you want to start at this
Well,
episode?
it would take
Let's do it.
us thinking back to 1 through.
Oh, you want to start
Because-
that?
yeah,
Okay.
because-
that's fair.
I can tell you right now. But see, it also made me think about. I was thinking about this. Are we going to try to figure out a talking nerdy ranking of these episodes, or
Or
are we going to do
single
individual
person
and see
individual.
where it, where it gets
do
crazy,
that.
where it fluctuates,
Yeah.
Because
Gotcha.
I feel like it would take a lot of like. I'd have to talk to you guys even more than I already do
Yeah.
to come up with a
I don't like the sound
talking
of
nerdy
that.
ranking, and I'm not
Yeah.
really feeling that.
We're gonna have our own.
Yeah, I
channel
say we just have our, let's just do our own thing.
personal
Uh,
rankings.
But yeah, I thought the personal ones honestly would be funner because then we can just see like where they start to get, go
course.
crazy and differ,
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah,
Evolving crazy.
they are good. Atmon is crazy,
Yeah,
but
Amon's fun.
I know there's an episode, actually the episode 12 is definitely like up there
Awesome.
as like it's definitely in the top 3 or 4 for me.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'd fit it in yet because
So yeah, Podbean, YouTube,
iTunes,
Facebook,
and emails.
and emails. So that's where you can find us. Look us up. I mean, you could even go to Google search and Google search "Talking Nerdy About Digimon," and it'll all show up. Like
Oh, really? I've never done that.
I'm pretty sure I Google searched it earlier.
Sweet.
Yeah, and so do it. And
Just-
yeah,
We'll see you there.
Did you use the
Yeah.
Gatchmon search engine to
yeah,
find us?
Yeah, actually, I
Nice.
did a little typing on the
Nice.
holographic keyboard, and he punched through space and time.
Gatchmon's
All right,
great.
without any further ado,
Episode 12. I got the title Sakuzamon's Defeat thanks to Super Aptly Link. Is that what you got? Did you even write the title?
no, I wrote it down. There's an exclamation mark at the end of AppLink.
Oh, right.
and,
So
yeah.
was I doing it wrong?
I mean, you
Sakuzamon's
didn't say-
Defeat thanks to Super Aptly Link.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So this episode, I love how this episode just it starts out obviously with the previously on,
Yeah, like
and then it goes straight in from the previously on straight into the episode.
absolutely where we
I
left
thought
off.
that was cool.
And just to kind of give a little reminder, we left off with Ray coming in with Raydramon, and they saved the other kids from Sakuzumon. He had a whole wall and he was about to crush them. Ray came in, messed up the wall. He had Sakuzumon pinned down, and then Sakuzumon was like, I am not prepared for this kind of anarchy right now.
retreat.
So he was like, oh, I'm out of here, and just like pushes
Smart.
Raydramon off, jumps away. I think at that point, Haru's like asking him, like,
Yeah,
oh,
what's-
you saved us. You don't work for Leviathan.
Yeah.
This is totally crazy. And then I think they say something, and was it Sakuzumon?
no, Sakuzumon talks to him and he says, well, he talks to Ray and says, you're not going to get your brother even if he's like
he
still
says- I
alive
think
or
he
something
says
like that.
Hajime,
Oh, Hajime. He
and
might
then
say, yeah,
Haru
he does
says,
say
"Oh,
Hajime.
who's Hajime?" And Ray's reluctant because Ray's, edgelord McEdgyson over
course.
here, and he's super like, So then Raydramon's just like, "Oh, that's his brother.
Just starts
He's looking for his brother." And
giving
Ray's
out
like,
info.
"Shut up, man! Come on."
And then what does Haru say to get Ray mad at him?
I think he just says
Can't remember.
Hajime's name. And then Ray's like, don't say his name, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And he goes up to him. He's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm taking all your Apply chips.
And then like
That's when the
it
episode cut
immediately
off.
starts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this one
That's-
immediately
yeah.
comes in,
Previously on. Here we
Yeah.
go.
and then you got Raydramon just swoops in, and like swoops at Haru,
Right.
and I think Gatchmon jumps over there. He gets knocked away.
Astra and Eri just almost immediately just get batted away.
Well, aren't they still in chip form, or am I mistaken?
Yes.
Were they in chip form?
I think
Because I
the-
thought their Atmon were running towards him.
I can't remember if they were in chip form or not.
And I mean,
Or maybe they get knocked into chip form.
he does. He basically knocks everyone away. He knocks Gatchimon away as well. Also, I've been saying it Gachimon this whole time, and I was trying to listening back on old podcasts. I was like, why does that sound so wrong? And then I remembered that's that bird superhero series that Japan did a while back. So Gatchimon gets swatted away too, and all of a sudden Ray just starts hearing Hajime's voice. Right?
Oh yeah, starts saying brother. And you know what's funny? I noticed this. The first place he looks is at Raydramon. Mm-hmm. And that's what it got me thinking some stuff. But then he starts looking like all over the place, just like randomly.
It's like who's saying that? And that's whenever he mentions that Hajime's the only family he had. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of goes into Ray's flashback, Ray's story, right?
Yeah,
and
he just gives it.
Oh man, it just immediately starts like as sad as you can possibly get, and he's at their
funeral.
Yeah, their mother's funeral.
Yeah.
Like their mom, dad. Hajime's all, oh, when's mom coming home?
Oh, dude, it's so sad, man.
Yeah, like trying to explain.
It's okay, not for a long time.
He says something like she's gone to a
faraway place.
Faraway place. Yeah.
Right. So then he mentions that their dad left, and the family members are trying to
messed up.
Yeah, their family members were trying to split them up and take them into different homes. So instead, Ray was like, "Nope, I gotta step up, and I've got to take care of my little brother."
He hacked. Well, he hacks into the. It says he hacks into the registry, the family registry or something like that, and does something to make it to where they can stay together.
Yeah, he has to raise his age.
So then he starts raising his brother.
Yep.
And this is what I like, though. If you notice, when he starts out, the food's burnt
the eggs,
and stuff.
The omelet rice.
Yeah. And then a little later,
we have
it looks real good, So you see that he got better and better
going
at
on.
being a parent, basically. You know?
Taking care of his brother and everything.
Yeah.
Well, and then one day he's on his computer, right? And all of a sudden he sees a strange message, and it says message. It says, "I would like to meet a person with superior intelligence. The image contains clues about the meeting place. Solve the riddle and come in first." And it's a message from Leviathan, and the image is the pictures of a Leviathan,
right?
This just giant, scary looking creature that I don't want anything to do with.
Me neither.
And people wonder why I'm afraid of deep water, open water.
It's because that one time when you got attacked by Nessie when you were visiting.
No, listen, it comes from Pinocchio. I've thought about this several times. That giant whale, it messed me up.
That's
as a kid.
pretty messed up.
Okay, so moving on away from my personal fears. So he eventually solves it.
Well,
right?
Before though, he says this was the moment when he fell into their trap because Hajime was behind, like on the table behind him as he's getting this message, and he says, "Oh, I'm gonna do this. Like I'm gonna be the first to figure this out." And Hajime is like, "Hey Ray, like look at this picture," and he's just like, "Yeah, I'll look at it later," And that's when he's like, "This was when I fell into the trap," and like
the downfall.
Yeah,
and so he finally figures it out. And he's about to leave the house, and then Hajime is like, "Oh, hey, I want to come with you."
And he even starts I'll be back later. Like he's just zipping his coat up. He's
about
walking
to head out,
man,
and just leave Hajime here by himself.
So I'm wondering though, how long?
Could you imagine if this went the other way and Hajime actually stayed there?
Oh, dude.
Yeah. So anyway, they're walking down the street.
I don't know what would have happened.
Hajime's just happy hanging out with his brother and everything.
Oh, and he's so happy, man.
Yeah. And what's that?
Well, no, he would have.
He would have went in first.
He might have been a good Applisode driver. You don't think so?
He probably wouldn't have been an Applisode driver.
If it happened, I mean, the same thing
so
would have happened.
Ray would have been taken by Leviathan?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So essentially what happens is they get to this building, and he's just Ray's like, "Oh, this looks like the place, but I don't get it." And it's just a building, and there's like revolving doors with a Christmas cell on it. So Hajime is walking in behind this guy, and then like the revolving doors go and they stop and they go black.
It's creepy, man. It's weird.
And then after a few seconds, they come back on and they start spinning, and you see the man that he walked in with.
Well, first you see weird writing and stuff.
Yeah, it's all like flashing and stuff.
And you even see the Leviathan logo for a second pop up.
And then they say like you're the first one or something like that.
First Hajime is what it says.
So then the doors start again. And you see the businessman that went in the same time as Hajime comes out on the other end, and then the doors revolve, and no Hajime.
Nope.
And his head, so he must have been like injured or something.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like the businessman comes out and he's sort of like
dazed,
rubbing his
little bit.
Yeah, like he
probably ran into the side of the
maybe when it stopped. Maybe when it stopped.
So Ray goes in and he's like freaking out, like looking for him, and he can't figure anything else out. So he ends up joining this like black market.
You're skipping so much.
What am I skipping?
He goes to the police.
Oh, yeah.
He's saying, asking him to find his brother, whatever. He gives him his name,
missing.
And the policeman looks it up,
and it pulls up the file, and then it immediately gets buzzed out.
Yeah, and you see the Leviathan logo, and
the cop is like, we don't have time for practical jokes here, kid.
There ain't nobody by this name or whatever.
Really messed up
so he's
and unprofessional.
Eliminated Hajime from the record.
Yep.
He does not exist.
So then he says he joined a hacker group, dangerous hacker group is what he says, to rescue
a black
him.
Hack group or something.
And he ends up learning that Hajime was converted into data.
Yeah, they show a video of him.
Yeah, he sees
in the revolving door, and it stops, and this red light.
You don't see the businessman in there though.
Nope. The red light just goes over him and turns him into data. So at that point,
he says he's trapped in the digital sea.
Yeah, and that's all we really see of his backstory after that, right?
Yeah, because then it goes back and he has Haru saying like we should join forces because we're trying to take on Leviathan too. But Ray,
he ain't having none.
No, he's like.
So he kind of goes off on his own, right?
Well, first he's like.
He still wants to.
Just give me all your chips. I'll do it myself. And then he's like, Raydramon, eat them, because. Well, and then he's like, just eat all of them, and of course Musamon and them like they make some funny stuff, but
like whoa.
Haru's like, why or whatever, and he says, I think I didn't note it, but he said like, it would make him stronger if he ate. If he ate their data, it would make him stronger.
There's been so many series where they're like, oh, we'll just eat him and get stronger. Like, have you ever seen Princess Mononoke?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That scene after he basically, gets shot in the stomach and gets her all the way out the wall and everything, and all of a sudden the apes start showing up and they're like, oh, just leave the human. We're going to eat his flesh and gain his knowledge. And it's like, you're dumb.
So, it doesn't really work that way, but we don't know about Atmon though.
Well, I mean, technically none of us have ever been cannibals, so we don't know if it works that way or not.
Well,
I might be able to eat your brain and gain all your knowledge. You think?
Dude,
what is it?
You're the only one.
Is there not something where that's a thing where if you eat their brain you gain their
that was an iZombie thing, wasn't it?
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Probably. I think
I feel like it was something related to comic books.
She eats a murderer's or a murdered person's brain, and
she
then
gains their.
She kind of sees like what happened to him.
Maybe that's what
I think. Yeah, sounds right.
So, anyways, right around this time, Sakuzumon shows back up, and he like
boxes
Ray in, and he vanishes, and he takes him to this. I guess is it another part of the island or another part of the
Reviewmon Island? I guess
server
is where they're at.
And he puts another board game out there, and he ends up like putting up a video of Hajime, and I think he says like brother or something like that. Like he's sort of calling out to Ray, and so Ray, of course, runs at the video.
We already know what happens because it's just this giant red grid.
It's that grid again.
Yep, and he runs and hits stuff and gets trapped.
He gets all electrocuted, and
I think
all
he even
stuff.
takes out Raydramon, doesn't he?
Yeah, in a minute. Yeah, so it flips back over to Haru and the others, and they're like,
"We need to get the hell out of
here.
Yeah,
we just need to go." And they figure out if we
go
go this way,
to come back and eat my Appmon.
No. So they decide to leave, and Haru's like decides no.
Main character instincts start kicking in.
Well, he brings up the main character thing, and he says, "When I chose to be a main character, I chose to do stuff like this to go and help Ray, even though,
Be stupid.
yeah, he did steal our chips, and yeah, he took our guy, he whooped our butts and all this, but
he was a real dick. But
I'm
you
a
know
main
what?
character.
He's our dick.
it's and so he just and Gatchmon's like, oh yeah, you're my boy.
He's like, I'm with
I
you.
got your
You're
back,
my
you know.
boy, Blue.
And so they turn around and walk away, and Ari ends up joining him, and then of course Astra comes in, and so they go to help Ray. So this is when we jump in and we see Raydramon fighting, and
Just get
demolished,
annihilated,
man.
yep. And turns back into chip
he
mode.
goes into chip mode, which you've never seen this before, because I thought Raydramon was the man. Like
Oh,
we've
yeah.
never seen Raydramon get whooped.
So,
So then he ties up-
Raydramon gets beat.
Yeah,
They don't stand
how can
a
our
chance.
guys do anything if Raydramon can't do
Right.
anything? So Ray gets tied up on this tile thing.
And he is about to get destroyed.
Yeah, he's gonna get killed.
Yeah.
So Kuzumon is about to kill dude.
Yeah, straight up murder
And
him.
right as he's got his little fan knife thing and he's about to take the shot,
giant Dogach
you get a Dogach buster, comes
just
at him.
interrupts.
and let's see, where am I at?
Stuff happens.
So so everybody shows up. So you got Dosukamon, you got Mediamon, you got Dogachmon.
Yep.
He immediately takes down Mediamon and Dosukamon.
Yep.
Like they don't do anything for this
But
thing.
Dogachmon
is
Dogachimon-
so awesome.
Oh,
dude.
he pulls out the swords. Was that the first time he did the swords?
It's the first time he
Yeah.
uses the swords. Yeah.
And they're basically the arrows.
Yes,
from
it's the
navigation.
points. Yeah, the
arrows.
navigation
Yeah,
points that he
he's
puts
just-
in, and they start going at it, and but sadly, even Dogachmon
He
gets
starts
gets
getting-
taken
He
He
down.
starts
You know,
getting pushed back.
and Ray, they untie Ray.
Yeah, Haru's basically because Ray's like, why'd you come back?
Yeah,
Well,
he's
you're a
still
freaking
he's
idiot.
still being a jerk, and he's
Yeah.
like
You're the
saying
dumbest
you're
person
weak.
ever.
You know, you're weak. You can't do anything, and
And Haru's like, no man left behind.
yeah, and
I'm the main
and Ray
character.
sees Dogachmon like getting up,
Oh.
even though he's
Yeah.
getting whooped, and he knows he's not gonna be able to do it. He's
The
still
hero
getting up and he's still
instincts.
fighting. And so Ray tosses Haru the Raydramon chip, and he's
Right.
like, "Do an app link."
Yep.
And so
Oh,
we get
man,
an app link of
is so
Raydramon and Dogachmon, and it is awesome.
They combine. Dogachmon gets,
He gets-
Raydramon's wings, and then he gets a hacking
His
sword.
hack sword, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
So,
this thing is
so
awesome.
at that point, I think Sakusimon's like,
Well, first, like Dogachmon comes down,
Yeah.
and he like puts the sword into the board game, and it like wipes the board game
Right.
out, and then Sakuzamon's like,
You know
you
what?
just took my game out."
yeah, he's like, I'll deal with you later.
I'm taking
And then
off.
he goes to fly away.
He says, "Yeah, you
Oh.
you can't catch me. I'm too fast for you, or whatever."
But then Dogachimon plus Raydramon is just there.
dude is crazy
He's just
fast.
like,
He
where
takes
the
off.
hell do you think you're going,
He
bro?
takes off after him. Sakuzamon at one point looks back, to see where he's at, saying, he's not gonna be able to catch me. And when he turns around, Dogachmon's just right there,
There.
and they start, going at it again. Takes him down to the ground,
Yep.
and when the smoke clears, you see that he's got his hack sword like
The
in
hack
his
sword
chest,
in
and
Sakuzamon.
he says, "Give me all your info."
And then he twists it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
so he hacks him, right, and gets all of his information on Hajime.
Yep.
And so we get these glimpses of
All these screens start popping up of all this data. and everything.
all the info that he's got.
Until Leviathan.
But he's
starts
only got a
bleeding.
second, yeah, because Leviathan jumps in and starts. Well, we don't see anything. All we
Yeah.
see is
The screen
his screen starts disappearing. And Sakuzamon said, how's my data being erased? Could it be Leviathan? Like is the boss man like turning on me?
Yeah, and then Ray sees Hajime and he's like yelling for him, and then I guess
In
Hajime
video,
hears him.
in a video
Yeah.
form.
And Hajime
But
hears him.
Hajime
And
hears
he's
him,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, brother!"
And
And then
so-
it just kind of vanishes right in front of him.
Yeah, and then we see Mienumon, which was the Super Appmon lady that we've been
We
seeing.
didn't get her name yet.
Oh, do we still not know her name?
Nope.
My bad.
Wow.
Uh,
Thanks for
Way
that.
to go,
Just,
Jane.
just
her name's
just
Mienumon.
forget about that.
But she's holding.
She's the crazy super Appmon that has the weird puppet
Yeah.
arm that we keep seeing that keeps popping up, and anytime they beat a really super Atmon, she grabs the chip. So
And she gets the Sakuzumon chip.
And she has this invisibility ability.
Right.
And she grabs that chip. So, then the dust is settled. We had this badass scene with Dogachimon plus Raidramon.
And it was so awesome.
Was a great combination.
So Ray starts to walk away, and Gatchamon's like, dude, thank you would be nice or whatever.
Yeah.
And he turns around and just tosses
The
their
7
chips
code
back
chips.
at him.
But not just
the 2 that he
Gomimon
stole.
And the Roleplaymon chip. He also gave him the
Mailmon.
Mailmon chip.
So
So
he's
now they have 3 out of 7.
Yep.
Need 4 more.
And it just
Leviathan's gonna have the other 4.
it just kind of
Well, they're out there. The other
ends
4 are
ends
out
with
there.
them getting those 3 and
This was a great episode.
yeah, no,
Like a
they,
really, really
I mean,
good
The
episode.
only
I mean,
thing it was missing was Afro Man.
the
Afro Man
best
was
thing
in this.
about it is we don't have a lot of 2-part episodes in this,
Right. It would have been.
And the story for it was just so deep that
Yeah.
they had to split it into 2 episodes because we had
Yeah, we should have
some
planned
really
this better so
Yeah.
that we could have done
yeah, but
both
I mean,
episodes together.
They had to wait about as long as we had to.
That's true.
So
That is true.
You
All right, so now we come to episode 13,
it's a Christmas episode,
which might be. I think Merle and I are on the same. This might be one of the worst episodes. I think.
You're on the same page on this one.
Yeah.
On the calendar, same page.
The heck? I think that was Drew. I'm pretty sure. I hope that was Drew.
Probably.
So anyway, so episode 13, Christmas disappeared. The calendar thief, Calendarmon.
Freaking bookstore.
That plays a part in this one.
Yes.
So they're I and Haru are decorating, and then they have a moment, where they touch hands and they do the blushy stuff.
And they're talking about their favorite Christmas books.
But then Eugen comes in and puts a bow or something, like a little bow thingy, on Haru's massive cowlick thing. And
Eugen
then
is all obviously a
they
really
have a
jealous
moment.
bitch and wants I to stay away from him.
Yeah.
His man.
Always being Mr. Cockblock.
So
Then it shoots over to her dad, I's dad, right? And he's
Yeah.
like, humming along, all
Christmas
super
is his
excited.
this is where, real
Time
quick,
of
we should
year.
probably mention Drew, a friend of ours, showed up, so
So
he'll
he's in
probably
the
say
background.
something.
Yeah.
I'm not-
No, hey,
I'm
no,
not
don't.
allowed
Yeah,
to talk.
okay, so don't. Jesus, what is
talk.
wrong
You already
with you?
talked.
I'm just making
God.
it
Just
apparent.
listen.
We gotta
sit,
scrap this
sit
whole
in your
episode
corner.
now. Start over.
Sit in your corner.
But I'm not allowed to talk.
And don't
until y'all
say
say
anything.
something
Stupid.
really dumb.
Which we're fixing to get
Fix
to.
it too.
because
Hopefully,
this
hopefully you're
episode
sitting far
is
enough away that we can't hear you. So anyway,
Stupid.
we shoot over to I's dad, who is
Christmas is his favorite time of the year.
yes, Christmas is his favorite. He loves giving. He is a giver.
It is the best time of the year, though.
Yeah.
Unless you work in retail. Then
It's the
not.
Well,
most
that's
wonderful
true.
time of the year.
Unless you work in retail.
He's watching the news, right? Or they see the news.
No, he is making schedules and stuff like that because they have an annual Christmas thing
Yeah.
at the bookstore, and
On
he
Christmas
loves giving
Eve.
gifts out and all that stuff. At that point, the date disappears. The 24th and the 25th.
It goes straight from the 23rd to
And
the
then all of a
26th.
sudden they turn on the news and they find out that it's disappeared from
Everywhere.
every digital calendar ever. So we've talked about before how much of a crutch technology is for this world.
Let me just say something. If they legitimately can't function on...
Merle's been waiting for this moment since he watched this
They
episode.
deserve what they get. I was rooting for Leviathan
Well,
in this episode.
It was just hilarious because you have people all over the world that are like, well, shit, I guess we have to cancel our plans because we're going straight to the 26th after today.
It's time to get ready for New Year's.
Yeah,
You know?
and it just didn't make any sense. So we shoot over to Aerie, who was supposed to have a holiday special where she was supposed to be like Santa's favorite reindeer or
Yeah.
some shit like that.
Yep.
We did you like that?
Yeah.
So then we shoot over to Astra, nobody's favorite character, who is talking about he's talking
Try to
about
sneak that
the
in.
challenge that he was going to do, and he is like, all right, well, I guess I can't do that now.
Nope.
And then they show just multiple people all over the place. Afro Man apparently had a date on Christmas, and the date texts him back. It's like, oh, I guess we have to wait 365 more days until our date.
They skipped a day?
Like all the digital calendars and everything, it just
Technically,
disappeared.
they skipped 2 days.
So they just went with it. They were like,
24th,
oh,
25th.
See,
that's how this. That's how
what he
this-
was saying. Like,
yeah, that's how this society is.
Since the digital calendar had lost 2 days,
Right.
they just magically thought that the world just sped up times 2 speed.
Okay, they weren't that dumb, but they were like, oh, well, I
they're
guess.
just saying the stuff
Yeah.
that they had planned for the next 2
Yeah.
days has to be canceled because the next 2 days
Yeah.
aren't going to be there. We're going to the 26th.
Which is
you know?
dumb. You can
It's
just,
dumb, it is.
You
It's-
could
it's-
just keep a wall calendar
Sure.
or something. So, I believe at this point, we get
Haru
into-
sees.
Yeah.
Well, Haru sees. No, they go to start leaving, and Haru notices an Atmon,
Yeah.
or what he thinks is an Atmon.
yeah.
Kind of.
Well, he sneaks back into the store,
Yeah,
right?
so he
After
sneaks into
hours.
the
He
store,
does a
yeah.
Mission Impossible type mission.
Yeah,
and
and-
I actually comes in. We see her talking to her dad, and he's like super sad about it
Who,
all.
by the way, has a wall calendar on his wall
Yes,
with the 24th and 25th still on there.
which still confounds us. So she actually she goes to the tree
Haru. Before this, though, Haru calls Astra and Eri
to
and
meet
tells
at
them to meet at the bookstore.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Astra's like sitting there and he's got all this junk food like scattered around him, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm not doing anything tonight. Like I'm in for the night. I'm done." And then I guess Haru says something about an Atmon. So he's like, "Oh, there's an Atmon going crazy. All right, we'll be there." You know.
doing this. So then after him and Gachimon talk. Sorry. It shoots over to Ai, who is standing in front of the tree and is communing with the tree spirit.
She's praying to the tree.
And all she wants to happen is for everybody to get presents and have a Merry Christmas.
Praying to
And at that
tree
point,
Jesus.
Gachimon is like, you know what? I don't get it, but I'm going for this. So he
There's-
runs up there.
There's
and
something
he's like,
about it. He just can't stand being back there.
So
he's
he's
got to
like,
jump
oh,
up.
I'll do this. I'll grant your wish and all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And like he's going on, and then all of a sudden Haru walks up, and then basically explains to her about Atmon
Yeah.
and stuff. So we just kind of fast forward to her like learning about everything that's happened up to this point. I think Eri and Astra walk in.
So it cuts to him basically saying, and that's what's
Yeah.
been going
And-
on.
and
I
she
know
just
it's weird.
completely
She
accepts
goes with it. Yeah.
She's like, oh,
And
all right, cool, good
then
deal.
we see Calendarmon
Yeah.
jump around, and start jumping through.
And
TV.
I love that he's like, I really love this calendar, and it's like of a sexy woman,
And it looks like every time this
He's
dude moves
doing some funky
and he
stuff.
stops, he's making these sort of thrusting motions, man. It's so
I
weird,
noticed
dude.
that.
Did you notice
very,
that?
very awkward.
But so he starts running around, jumping through screen to screen until he gets to one specific place, and Haru and Gachimon are like, "Oh, we've caught you," And he's like, "Oh no, you haven't." And he opens up an AR field,
Yeah.
and this is when all of a sudden Eri and Astra just pop up behind Haru, and he's like, "Oh hey guys,
let's do this.
Let's do this."
I think before that he was also talking about because they're like, oh, bring these days back, and he's like, no, these days get more attention than all the others and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then
Well, he says it's not. He says that he gives out these dates. He lets these people know all the time what these dates are, and he gets nothing for it. Nothing
respect.
back for it.
respect at
so
all.
at that point they all jump in the AR field. Excuse me.
RF.
They jump in the AR field, and all of a sudden they go through a calendar, right?
Yeah, they land on a calendar. The calendar splits in two, and they fall down. It gets so silly at this point.
Mm-hmm.
This is really silly.
So they get
This
to
is where it gets silly.
This is where it gets silly.
This point, that's what I'm just saying.
Yes.
So anyway, they go through this calendar,
Silly for
and
this
they land, and
show.
he's all like they're chilling and stuff, and he starts messing with them, and Astra's first up.
Yeah,
So
so-
he turns it to August 1st, which is I guess the first day of their summer break.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden Astra has like all this swimming gear on and a little tube and a cap, swimming cap and stuff. He's like, yeah, first day of summer. This
Summer
is great.
vacation.
Yeah. And all of a
he
sudden he switches
flips.
it to August 31st, and it's like, back to studying and a bunch of
Right,
books
it's
and
like
stuff
they-
pop up.
you know,
the homework that
summer
I put
vacation's
off.
over.
Yeah, so
and
then,
now all that homework that
so
he's got.
it basically like confuses him, and he gets put out of the game. And then it goes to Aerie, and she's like, haha, you can't beat me. And then
He flips to July 23rd.
July 23rd, which is the date that she got denied for a part in a superhero idol role.
Mm-hmm.
And so that messes her up,
And she's out.
takes her out. And then Haru is talking to him. And he's like, oh, if you're so powerful, bring in, February 31st?
Yeah.
Which is
Does
a date that
not
doesn't
exist.
exist. So
Right.
he's like flipping through. He's a fucking calendar.
Well,
He should have
And
known
doesn't
that.
realize that there's no
well,
February
first
31st.
he says, I'm the only one that is not affected by days,
Yeah.
being there or not being there or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when Haru's like, oh, well, why don't you go to February 31st?
Yeah.
And he starts to flip, and he's like, February is weird. Don't worry about February. And then he's like, all right, well, what about December 24th and 25th?
And he was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I
if I-
chose not to.
Well, he says, I can't flip to that. If I flip to that, I'm going to give it back to them. But if I don't flip to that, then my integrity is going to be like... and so he's confused. He's starting to confuse himself. And this is where
He's overthinking himself.
Gatchmon's like, let's super aptly rise. And so he goes to Dogatchmon and just Dogatch busts
this
the
was the
crap
first
out of
time he super aptly arose.
Oh, right, because we forgot to mention
Yep.
his Dogatchmon chip becomes active at
Yeah.
the end of the last episode.
After him and Hackmon, and they beat
Sakuzumon.
Sakuzumon.
Yeah.
His chip, it goes from black and white to
Right.
color, so we know that it's activated. So
They
he
beat-
aptly arose, and I pointed this out earlier to James that Ray was telling him that an aptly
yeah.
arose Appmon is stronger than a aptly gatai
Mm-hmm.
Appmon, even if it's the same super Appmon. Then the aptly arose one is stronger than the aptly gatai one. And let me just point out that the power, because I was gonna write it down, was exactly
It's
the
still
same.
75, right?
Yes.
7,500.
And I just was like, why? Like, isn't it supposed to be
Maybe-
stronger?
Maybe it doesn't necessarily mean
More power.
more power. Maybe it's
Maybe
just
he's faster.
maybe,
He's-
I don't know.
I don't know. Reflexes. He's too quick
But
now.
they Dogatch bust Calendarmon. One hit, like it's not a
One
fight
shot.
or anything.
No contest.
So
Fatality.
he becomes good again. He releases the virus, and they end up
Going out of the AR
Yeah.
field, and they end up in a weird section of the library that
Yeah.
does not look familiar to them at all.
right, and it's the basement.
Yeah, they find out that there is a secret passage behind one of the bookshelves.
Which is another thing I don't get. I
And
mean, you would think.
I think at that point, eye pops up,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Oh, my dad doesn't even know about this, and this has been in their family for generations."
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How would you not know that's not there?
So anyway, I think at that point they're like, "Oh, this would make a great hideout," and she's like, "Yeah, sure, do it."
You can use
and they keep talking about like, "Oh, let's. I can practice this here, and we can
she
we can
says she
record
can-
here, and blah blah blah."
yeah. Practice her dramatic heroine.
heroine, hero.
Heroine. So then we cut outside of the bookshelf where the secret passageway is, and we see creepy Eugen again
Creepy
pop
Eugen.
up,
And
and you can
he's
see the
just
red
kind of-
eye, and
Yeah.
He's
and
just-
then we cut to
Haru in his
Haru's
bedroom.
house, and he's sleeping, and all of a sudden his Apple drive lights up, and it wakes him up, and he walks over to it, and it starts calling his name. Haru! Oh, it's great, and that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
And that was literally the best part of the episode to me, was
Yeah.
getting the
The
creepy Eugen,
Eugen,
and
yeah.
because it's
and they finally have like a secret base where
Right.
all of
So
the
that's
all of the
basically
Applemon.
the only
You
thing
get
that
some
really
good
happened.
Stuff
The only thing that really happened was-
I still hate its guts.
It was a bad.
Well,
episode.
they first aptly arose.
You get the first super Aptly
Aptly
Rose
Rose from them.
Atmon. You get the you get a new member of the team. She kind of joins the team
Yeah,
now.
she learns about
She's a
everything.
support.
You get more creepy Eugen, and you get some
Which we
something
haven't
going
seen
on.
any creepy Eugen since first episode.
Very
right?
first episode, yeah. And then you get
Think
this
he's a robot?
Apple Drive.
Definitely,
I'm not-
absolutely a robot. He's
Or
probably Terminator.
an
Honestly,
android
he's probably sent from the Future
Oh, here we
by
go.
Leviathan.
Episode 14. It would make
Arnold
sense.
Dun dun
Schwarzenegger
dun
style.
dun
Dun,
dun 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 dun.
such great music, dude. Terminator was so good.
Anyway,
Anyways, episode 14.
opens.
Which is called. Oh, I thought you
You
were
want me
going
to do
to
the
say it.
you want me to do the first part and
I
then you
was-
do this little like sec.
I mean,
the
if you
whole
want.
town is a puzzle game.
Puzzlemon's Great Escape.
It's great. This is a better episode.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It opens up with Watson running like
Oh
a madman.
no! First,
you're gonna actually talk.
it
about
opens.
the
It technically
New Year's
opens
Eve
up with them
opening.
wishing us Happy New Year.
Oh my god!
I thought that was really
I
cute,
forgot.
man.
How did I forget about that?
I thought that was really cool.
They're all like, yeah.
They have a
Happy New
fun
Year,
little
yay.
opening and-
Okay, and then like the end of the last episode, they had Christmas and it was all nice
Yeah,
and
it,
Yay.
it,
gifts
it
and
ties
stuff like
in,
that.
man. It
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're
back to New Year's.
but they're following.
Yes.
Okay,
Every,
you know what?
Every anime does
Watson's
this,
running.
this
Yes.
trope.
Watson,
so anyway,
Watson's running to the convenience
like
store.
a madman, and
Uh,
apparently
Gotta-
he has to do his
He's got
business.
he's got to poop.
He's
Yeah.
got to.
He's like holding his butt, and he says something like
He ate too many proteins.
something I can't remember. Something like something's fixing to come out of my butt or something like that. I can't remember what he
A
said.
so
Prairie dogging over here.
he runs to an L Mart
Yeah, he does run to
Walmart.
the L
that
Mart,
has a
yeah.
very suspicious,
not the Walmart, but
specific.
if there
font
was any
of
store
L.
that would be run by Leviathan, it would definitely be Walmart.
Walmart.
You saw the South Park episode, right? With
I
Walmart,
Did.
it's its own entity.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Anyway, so he gets to the door, and all of a sudden, the little lock on it is like digital. So all of a sudden, the door locks, and a puzzle game pops up.
Unboot the board door.
Yeah, like one of the
Even
people that works
associate,
there.
yeah. He's like, I don't have a key for this, like I didn't even know there was a key for this door. It's not supposed to be
Yeah.
locked or whatever. And then the puzzle game pops up, and Watson's
Watson
freaking
is
out, man.
screwed. So then it cuts to our opening.
They're hanging.
That's
So
where you go find a ditch.
dang,
Oh man,
this isn't the country, Merle. All right.
They live in a city.
So we cut
Okay, that's when you go find an apple.
cut through the awesome theme song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the new because they changed the
You're doing things with your hands that people can't see. He keeps pawing at the microphone, and I like he's trying to describe it.
They do
or
something
pick it out of
different
thin air.
apparently, and
He's
and
doing-
Merle likes it, so that's
he's
all
doing
that
a
matters.
Gachimon search right now. He's trying to reach into space and pull out what he's trying to think of.
I can't.
What did they do
It's a
different?
theme
You
song
got this.
opening.
The images in the opening.
Oh, okay.
Did they change up the images?
Yeah.
Or
What
maybe
did they-
he's never watched the opening.
This
This,
is the
this
first
is
time
like the
watching
first
the
time he's actually watched
I
it
thought it
since
was
the
the same.
first
I never-
episode.
I never
I think it is.
I,
I think it's the same until 26,
Okay.
episode
That's
26.
super spoily.
The recap episode,
Okay.
yeah.
So anyway, getting back into this episode.
So we got our team. They're hanging in the basement, and
all of the Atmon are aptly realized.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is somewhere that they can.
do that.
Yeah.
We didn't mention that in the. I think it was in the last episode, or it might be in this one. It pans over, and you see like all the Atmon are aptly realized, just chilling.
Yeah,
You
that-
got like
that was
all of
this
them, like
episode.
role play. Is it this one? I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, so
It actually starts off with like talking to her dad. And she's like, "All right, I'm gonna go on break now," and she walks outside and then sneaks back
Yeah.
in and finds the bookshelf and
Yeah.
like pulls a book out, presses the button, and goes behind the bookshelf, and then it closes, and she goes down and sees them all.
they're just talking about stuff. I didn't really make a bunch of notes about
They're
this because it
shooting
was
the
really
breeze.
Well,
But
I think at that point, they're watching. Was that They're watching Ari on TV for her New Year's special that she did, and then
Right.
she comes in, and
Oh, yeah.
they're like, "Oh, this isn't."
oh, was
filmed
that live? Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh no, pre-recorded." Blah blah blah. They're all like talking and hanging out, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I just remembered something," and she pulls out these scrolls.
Right.
And in Japan, it's customary whenever you have a New Year's resolution to write in kanji what you want to achieve or what your wishes for
Right.
the year on the scrolls. And so they're all writing them. Did you write them down?
I did, yeah.
Okay, I got them all too. I just didn't know.
Astra, we can go one after the other.
Okay.
So Astra wants to be the number one app tuber in reviews.
Yeah.
And they also talk about how
His
his
kanji is the
kanji
most-
is like beautiful.
Yeah,
you
Eri
know?
keeps bringing it up. So Eri wants to win first place in the Appleyama popularity contest.
Gatchmon wants to visit the
Gatchamanika
factory.
Dokamon wants to go for a walk with Eri. He's so
this dude.
cute.
Muzamon got the best one.
Yeah,
Muzamon says he's not going to deny himself anything.
yeah. Which is
Gonna
a
experience
little
it
That's his-
all. He's
you know.
high
So
on life.
everybody's saying that Haru, I guess this is the
Does
first
I
time.
do one?
She does one, and it just shows it in
This is-
kanji.
I thought
But she never says what it.
I thought
what
she
it
said
is.
she wanted to
So if
keep
you
like
can read
hanging out
kanji,
with them
you
or
know
something like
I
that.
I mean, yeah.
Is that what it?
So Haru is sitting here thinking, and he's remembering all the stuff that's happened, and he's like, I just want to continue having fun times with everybody.
Yeah, okay,
And
that's
I just to continue having these fun times, and he pulls his up, and it says, I want to stop Leviathan.
Yeah.
So at that point, they're all like, oh yeah, I can get down on that. So they all start writing their names on it, and then
This is the first time.
Astra writes his name, and Eri comments again like, "Oh my God, why is your handwriting?" And I think that's actually when Haru, tells her that he lives in a tea house.
Yeah, he's the
and he's a
heir to
successor,
the-
and he's like,
yeah.
"Oh, I practice at home all the time."
So they say something about this is the first time we've had our names like written together, and that they should have a name.
Yeah, for
And
their
And so this is a great little running joke throughout, like here, and then they bring it up again later on in the episode. But let's see. I think this is where they realize that an Atmon is running loose, right?
No, not yet. They
thought
they
they
see the camera. They see a video of the camera up front, and it's Watson
Oh, that's right,
creating
yeah.
a commotion. They're like, "What the heck's going on?" And so I guess they go upstairs at that point,
Yeah.
and he's like freaking out about this puzzle app popping up, and then they see the news
That made him
'cause
poop himself.
For some reason, the news always pops up with this stuff, and they're like, "Oh my!" Thinking
here we
about
go.
this, if they have an app for the news, everyone's screwed because. If that ever gets infected, it's just over.
It's fake
because-
news.
Yeah.
Fake news, alternative facts.
So anyway, they start seeing how all of these different things have been replaced. All
Af-
these screens have been replaced by this
Puzzle
gaming
game.
app, this puzzle gaming app.
Afroman. Is he a train conductor? Because he
I
looks like
guess
he's
so.
at the front of a
Dude,
train.
We've
and
seen him do so many jobs
says-
and live so many. He's essentially Stan Lee.
Yeah,
he's our Stan Lee at this point.
It says the train can't move until you
Solve
solve
this
the puzzle, and he's
Yeah.
like, no.
So they automatically oh, this is an Appmon. That's easy.
So this is when they're running, like,
Yeah, and they see him.
and Astra says, Astra brings up the first name of the team that he
Right.
wants to do. It's the Astras, and Ares like rejected, like immediately rejected. So they see the puzzle, or they find the AR field, right?
Yeah.
But
Puzzlemon, and
it's
got
locked.
a puzzle in front
Yeah,
of it.
and it's got a puzzle.
So,
So they
what?
gotta
This is
solve
funny.
the puzzle.
Astra walks up to it and he's like, "I got this." Fails.
Yeah, and Muzamon says he's better at music and rhythm games.
Yeah.
So Eri jumps up there, says, "I got this." Game over. Well, she's
Dokamon's
better
like,
at
fighting
action games and stuff.
And then Haru's over there, and he's over there for a long time because
Yeah.
we see the progression of time, and
Yeah.
everybody's in the back, and they're like, "Jesus," But I mean, it's a good sign because he hasn't lost.
He hasn't got game over yet.
And then all of a sudden, he hits
Does
it, and this game that keeps popping up. It's one of those little like matching.
is it a Connect
ball-
3 or whatever? A
Yeah.
Match 3 or whatever?
Yeah, they have this little square screen. There's a little hole in the center that balls come out of, and they're different colors, and you have to slide them to the ones
Actually
of the
looks
same
pretty
color.
fun.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like your
I'd try it.
regular
Not
For
if
like,
phone game.
I try it for like 20 minutes. And then,
So anyway, they get through, and at this point, Puzzlemon's been waiting like all day, and he's like, "Oh my God, like what took you so long?"
Yeah.
And then Haru mentions, he's like, "This guy looks really familiar." He's like, "Where have I seen this?" Well, all of a sudden, Messimon comes
the
out of
Atmon
the
band.
Yeah,
You hear
Messimon
something.
comes out of the Atmon band, and he's like, "Oh, sweet!" And they kind of come up to each other, and at that point, Aries like, "Oh, are you brothers?" And they're like, "No, we just look alike."
this is the second time we've
Third.
seen this. Oh, third?
Yeah, because of
We had Muzamon and
Muzamon and oh wow, I forgot his name.
DJ RJ
oh no,
CJ
you're in the right area. MC
MC
Mon,
Mon.
right?
Yeah.
And then who was the second one? Looking through notes diligently.
It was not Offmon.
Man,
We haven't seen Offmon yet.
wow.
I thought this was just the second. I thought this was the second time.
No, this was-
Musamon
this
and
was the
MC
third.
Mon.
Because,
Because we haven't seen.
well, I mean, the review mon. Remember?
Oh,
We had
the
that
review mon. Yeah,
because
that's
there
right.
was a
Gossip Mon. or
Gossip
whatever.
Mon. Yes.
Yeah,
So
you're
there
right.
you go.
You're right.
Okay. I had to think because it wasn't one that they had.
Yeah.
So anyway, that cute little scene happens, and then all of a sudden they get walls popping up all around them, right?
Yep.
And
It's puzzle game round 2.
yep, the balls start popping up
Not the ball.
all over the place. And then what?
everywhere.
So Haru gets this little screen in front of him, and he starts doing the matching. But then Eri interrupts, and she's like, "Oh, to the left. Throw that one to the right. No, to the left." And she basically just screws it up, and
Sure.
he loses. And then what? He looks over at Dokomon, right?
Yep.
And he's like, "Dokomon, can you punch him? Can you move him?" And he starts knocking them all over the freaking
Yeah.
place. Like they're like hitting up against everything and just flying, and everyone's having to dodge. And then Haru says, "Use your head," you know. And he's like, "Oh, my head!" So he headbutts him, and he hits it so hard that it breaks the walls.
I
of
like
it.
Dokemon.
And then they get out. Dokomon and Eri they've almost become my favorite. pair.
Really?
I mean, I really love Ray and Hackmon.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, super edgy and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I guess.
Edge Lord over here, Jerry.
Woo, yeah. So anyway, Dokomon headbutts it and it just knocks it through. I think at that point they all
Super.
Super-
Well, one
yeah,
Dogachmon, and then
we get Dogachmon, Super Applirose,
Yeah.
and then the other two Super
Applicatai
Gatai,
or whatever.
yeah. And then they just one by one just knock.
Yeah, so it's they
Yeah.
they do each separate because you know
each-
he's the balls.
Yeah.
he's so and Mediamon does a new move.
Oh, that
You know,
roar.
Yeah, the howling blast is what he called it. Because
Yeah.
before the only time we've seen
with the
him do
giant
twice,
ship
yeah,
and everything.
and he uses that giant ship
That
thing.
was pretty badass. So they start blasting him away, and he turns into fireworks
Mm-hmm.
whenever he's getting blasted away. And then I think it spells out kanji of Happy New Year. And then the virus goes away from him, and he's all like, "Yay!"
It's like a new lease on life.
And then we get. I noted that there is a few more names that Astra comes up with for their team.
Oh,
And they all
okay.
Astra's family
Sucks.
rejected.
Boo.
Oh my god, I can't read this one.
Which one?
Oh, Astra Association,
Uh-huh.
and then Astra Detectives. All of them got rejected.
Yeah. Well,
They're not detectives,
whenever they get
first off.
Puzzlemon in, they note, you know, I wasn't
Oh, yeah,
a
he's
7
not a-
codes Atmon. And then it kind of pans out to, we see Ray and Hackmon in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at that point, Hackmon says something like, "Oh, well, you know, that wasn't a 7 codes." And Ray was like, "Well, we didn't figure it was going to be that easy. But I'm more concerned with who took Sakusimon's
Right.
app chip."
Who's been taking those?
And
chips?
Hackmon said that he looked into it, and it was a super Appmon named
Named
Museumon.
Mienumon.
Munimon?
Yeah,
What is
Musamon is
Wow.
is my boy.
Wow, I totally just flubbed that. So it was Miunamon.
Mienumon,
right?
yeah.
At that point, we shoot over
We
to
cut to Leviathan
an
Corporation,
Elgort.
yeah.
And this very fancy butler's walking in, and
Your
he's got a hot
team,
chocolate for
madam.
somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And she turns around, and it's the Super Appmon that we keep seeing
Yep.
all over the place.
must be
She's all
It's
kind of
Mienumon.
like gothic Lolita looking, and she's got like this weird puppet for her left arm.
Yeah.
And she's like holding the cup with one of its arms, which is so weird.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She has it on one side with her regular arm.
Yeah.
But then the
I
little
think
puppet
she's holding
thing
the
has.
plate with one hand,
Yeah, yeah.
and then she's holding the
It's
cup
weird.
with the other. So at that point,
But then she says
she's talking about controlling the CEO of the company.
yeah,
and
it's
controlling
him.
humans.
That's him.
Yeah.
The guy, the
butler
dude that just brought her
was
the hot
the,
chocolate is the president and CEO of
And
this.
then we hear a voice off
Oh.
to the side and kind of see a face, and it's like, "Oh, you're a real demon, you know, controlling humans." And walks up, and it's this very, very traditional ogre-looking guy.
Yeah.
And he's red. He's got sunglasses, and he's got one horn sticking out of his head.
Yep.
And he's obviously a super Appmon.
it says his name.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
his name's Coachmon.
Yeah.
And he's got like one of those what was it? it wasn't like a horn or like it's one of the things, a phone, like a megaphone that you speak
Oh,
into.
yeah.
But it's not electronic megaphone. It's just a regular standard. So, it kind of shows
like cheerleaders used to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we see this.
Yeah. We're stuck on this megaphone.
So anyway, then it shows another little Appmon that we never
still
really
don't know this one.
get the name of
I
or
don't
anything,
think.
but it's always sleeping.
Yeah.
It was on a little cloud, and it just kind of fades back, and that was the end of it that we
the end
get.
of that
So
one.
we saw Munimon and Coachmon, and that was
This was a much
kinda-
better episode than the
Oh
last
yeah,
one.
yeah. We got introduced to a lot of stuff.
Pretty low, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After, but okay, now no more holiday episodes. So
At least
Well,
not
We've gotten
this
Halloween,
year.
we've gotten Christmas, we've gotten New Year's.
There's still,
Now we got to get.
We got St. Patty's Day. They're gonna get drunk.
no.
Yeah.
They don't celebrate St. Patty's Day, as far as I know, anyway.
About
I mean, if they do anything, they would do Golden Week or Children's Day or something like
what
that.
about Easter? He has risen indeed.
No.
Probably
So
not.
anyway, yeah, that was the end of our last episode for this session.
Yep.
Is there anything else? Anything else you want to add, Drew? You've never seen the show. Do you have any comments or anything?
What do you think?
Nothing jumped out at you?
He
Got any
he
questions?
came over
Nothing.
as a joke.
Oh,
And-
thanks, Dick.
and
What a
and
joke.
now he looks so sad and lost and confused.
It just doesn't sound good.
I could be at home watching Parks and Rec right now.
Boy,
Ooh.
we need to do a Parks and Rec podcast.
I would so. Oh my God.
I think that should
Stop
You
this.
can't be that excited on this podcast.
Oh,
that
sorry.
Yeah,
they don't
right.
place this
Jeez.
one.
Sorry,
What are you
sorry.
doing?
What are you doing?
Talking nerdy about Parks and Rec. That'd
So-
be awesome.
Boy.
After this, I think we're actually going to be doing Digimon Adventure, and
We are.
since we've already seen it all in English
Hang on.
back in the day, we're going to watch it all in Japanese and subtitled and everything, and just kind of maybe note some differences that they might have. I know there's definitely name differences.
I am gonna you guys don't have to, but
What are you gonna Applisode?
I'm
Butthole.
I'm gonna watch them both. I'm gonna watch them both so that I can try to know.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Differences and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I feel confident enough in remembering certain specific things, so I'm not gonna watch them both because I got a whole bunch of other crap I gotta watch.
I'm so busy. I'm Jerry.
Yeah.
All right, so episodes, where are we at? 15, 16, 17, right?
Yep.
All right, so able to see the whole future, mysterious fortune teller Tellermon. What you think's gonna happen in that one, boys?
I remember that being
They're
a good
gonna get their
episode.
fortune told,
Somebody's gonna
and
get
it's
told
gonna be
something.
wrong.
Yeah?
It's
Oh.
gonna
They're
be
gonna tell
all
them
messed
something.
up.
Okay, before James goes on, because he didn't, say what he was doing first.
All right.
We just started
Well,
this,
this
like
is
two episodes
still-
ago. James and we're caught up in the series.
Yes.
Some of the other guys aren't, so he's gonna tell them.
Me and
He's
Tyler.
he's gonna tell them the title
And you.
of the next 3 episodes that we're gonna do, and then they're just gonna kind of give an overview of what they think it's about.
But yeah, this
So-
Tellermon is going to give bad fortunes to these people,
Okay.
and they've got to put an end to it because obviously these people are going to take it seriously, and and that's not a good thing.
So you think
Or, like, kill your
Tellermon?
wife and you'll be happy forever. And then, like,
Yes,
You think-
and they would do that.
Afro Man kills his wife.
You
why
think
is Afro Man in here? He's like a rapper, right?
different Afro Man?
No,
Not,
there's
not,
only
he,
one.
he did not get high.
Afro Man walked through the Appland.
All right. What's the next?
Next one is
16, right?
yes, a message through time, the truth of the Apply Drive.
So this one
They're gonna
obviously
figure out their purpose.
is going to tell the story behind the Appla drives, and
Also-
maybe decide whose voice has been talking.
That's
to
pretty
Harley
daggone
and
good.
dreams.
Merle, are you?
Well, you gotta take
Secretly,
what's
he
been
watched ahead.
happening.
have you watched it?
No,
Good.
but you gotta take what's already happened in the
Sure.
context with what the
Right.
dream says.
So you think this is something else? I kind of thought filler or not filler. You know.
This one's definitely not filler.
So yeah, you could definitely say that one won't be filler.
The fortune teller one probably would filler.
Episode 17. Eri is multiplying by copy paste. Reclaim the stage of dreams.
Oh dear.
That's a
Oh
confusing one.
dear.
She didn't get to be the top star or whatever.
It's gonna be like the plot to that
She got
movie
replaced.
Multiplication, where
the Ed Sheeran album.
Yeah.
no, but she's trying to do too much at once, so she somehow this Appmon gives her the ability to make
This is
copies
just a
of
rip.
herself.
Are you,
Digimon
wait.
movie
Are you
is-
talking about multiplicity?
Yeah, multiplicity.
What did you? Oh, multiplication.
Yeah.
I like that one better, Merle.
But
All right.
Multiplicity. Who did that have in it?
I don't know.
Oh no. Come on. We
Mom
got this.
watched it.
Who is
John Cusack,
No, who's the first Batman?
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, it had Michael Keaton.
Oh,
I
okay.
believe. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I thought Adam West was the first Batman.
Okay.
First TV Batman.
You know.
Yeah. the
Actually,
movie.
there was somebody before him, though, right?
Bruce Wayne.
Oh God.
Shut up.
Okay, so we're gonna end with that.
Yeah. So
This is a good ending
good.
point. Merle's
good,
got
Merle.
some pretty,
That's pretty
good
good.
assumptions
Yeah.
going on.
Thanks, Tyler, for your for input there.
You're welcome.
What?
So, anyways, that's it. Stay tuned for Applisode.
Oh my god.
5.
5, right?
We're still learning, all right? I'm new and I'm learning.
But we gotta scrap this whole
Applisode
start
5
over.
come up
Episode 5
next
and,
week.
and then
Week after next. Whenever. No, next week.
Probably before that, we'll have whatever our Digimon Adventure
Yeah.
episodes are going to be.
Yeah.
We'll have episode 1 of that.
Yep.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Later.